Hi, it's me from Beth-Arabah. Welcome, friends and family. So I just got in some books that were donated here at Beth-Arabah, and I was fixing to put them out. And I was looking through one of them. The title is How to Hear from God by Joyce Meyer. And it slowed down a little bit here, so I'm just going to share a little bit about this book and then just kind of my thoughts. So I was reading it, and it says, Dave and I know from experience that God can open doors of opportunity that no one can close. And he can also close doors that we simply cannot open. I pray that God will open only the doors through which he wants us to pass. I may sincerely think something is right to do when it may be wrong. Therefore, I depend on God to close doors I am trying to walk through if I am in fact making a mistake. A man's mind plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps and makes them sure. That is Proverbs 16:9. And so I thought to myself, I would just share my story. So, and if someone comes in, I'll have to get off really fast. But I was really thinking about the doors of Beth-Arabah, how God opened the doors here at this Christian bookstore. And most of you know this story. I was depressed and God gave me a vision of Beth-Arabah and the place. Well, that was actually about 14 years ago. And it was only a year ago that I opened. So it was many, many years of looking for the place, Beth-Arabah, the building. It was already in my heart, but the building wasn't there. And so I would look and I would try to, open doors myself. I remember one time my Aunt Jackie Clark, she said, there's a house down here that you can use for free. And so me and Tracy Donaldson, shout out to Tracy, we went, cleaned up the house, getting ready to start this little thrift shop. And then come to find out, it didn't quite meet city standards. So that didn't go through. So tried other things. So finally getting back now to about, let's say May of 2024. Finally, I met with a lady in Sand Springs, and she said that she was going to rent me this space, and it was a really good price. And it wasn't quite downtown Sand Springs, but it was in Sand Springs. And so I said, I was ready right there, honestly, to go, I want to sign the contract. And she said, give it overnight and, call me back the next day. Okay, so I did. So client calls her the next day and says, okay, we've decided we want to sign this contract. And she said, I've changed my mind. I was devastated. I had texted probably 40 people that night to tell them we are fixing to open Beth-Arabah. So I had to go back and retext 40 people and say, it's not going to happen. And there was a lot of sweet replies back, but 2 or 3 people said almost the same thing. If this is not the right place, God has something better. And so a couple of weeks pass and I get on my phone and I just Google a place for sale or rent near me. And this little place in Henryetta popped up. I looked at it. I thought, this is kind of cute. So the very next day I go and I meet with the owner of this building and talk to her, go back home, think about it. It's like, it's not in Sand Springs. It's not really where I wanted it. I wanted it in Sand Springs because that's where my base of women were from. We lived there 20 years. I thought I had a group of ladies already with me to help me. And so I almost said no. But then I heard the Lord say to me, who gave you this vision? Those ladies are me. Can you depend on me? And so I said, yes, Lord. And we were able to purchase this building in Henryetta. And God has been so good to me here. The people here in Henryetta are so welcoming and so kind. And a shout out to Robert at Bare Bottom Antiques, to Becky at Caves Jewelry. here in Henryetta, they actually send people into my business. They have businesses of their own, and they will say, go check out Beth-Arabah. And I am so thankful for the welcoming people here in Henryetta. But going back to the story of Joyce Meyer, she said that God will open doors and close some, and that's what he did in my life. And in fact, that was a scripture he gave to me one day when I had knelt down and I was praying, asking God, Lord, you've given me this vision for Beth-Arabah, but I don't see it happening. And I heard him say in my spirit, I will open doors that no man can close. And he has. And I love it here in Henryetta. I love meeting with people. Yesterday, I had an opportunity to pray with a young man. He said, I don't know why I'm here. And he wanted to buy a book to find his purpose. And I did lead him to the book, The Purpose-Driven Life from Rick Warren. That was the first thing that popped into my mind. But after conversing with him, God opened a door and he received Jesus Christ. That's the second person here in Henryetta that I have been able to talk to them about the Lord, and they actually prayed the sinner's prayer. So God can do amazing things. Sometimes it's not what we wanted, what we thought. He gives us ideas and he puts something in our hearts, but he is the one that orders our steps. And I am so glad, I'm so thankful that I'm here in Henryetta, Oklahoma. So come by and visit us and get some good coffee and some of Reagan's delicious sugar cookies. I'll talk with you later.